Puka doodle doo. How we doing, everyone? How are you, Freeze? See you in the chat already. How are you getting on? I'm Clark, everyone. You are watching Puka GT. We're here for one of our morning sessions today. Going to be focused on improving lap times ahead of our big endurance race on Thursday. So we're looking at Watkins Glen, Group 3 machinery. I'll be mostly rolling around it in soft tires, trying to set a good time, trying to identify all of my braking markers, and making sure that I'm up to scratch ahead of the race. As the session goes on, though, I might start to play around with medium and hard tires as well, because I'm still not fully decided on my strategy for the 2 hour yet. I think I'll be mostly on softs and mediums, though, but I'm going to use my time in between now and Thursday night to figure out what the strategy is. So, in terms of format, we are going to take a look at a lap that was very kindly supplied to us by Charlie number 9. Just to get a good idea of and a refresher of where our braking points are, what our line is, what our turn-in points are, and what we should be looking for on a decent lap. Charlie is an A-rank driver. He is typically a good bit faster than me, second or two faster than me in the daily race qualies every week. So this will be a very good baseline for me. It's a shame, obviously, with time trials that you don't have access to all of the top laps that you'd normally get with the daily race, but this will definitely be good enough for us for now. Once I've reviewed Charlie's lap, I'll dive in, do about 10 laps myself just to get warmed up. I'll also do my braking drills before I do that, just to make sure that I'm braking correctly. And then from there, we're going to go into vision training. So I'm going to go back to Charlie's lap and I'm just going to let it play through a bunch of times and really focus on where my eyes need to be at different points of the lap to make sure that I stay on track and I'm looking in the right place, essentially. I'll then do a second stint of 10 laps, see how much I improve by. And then before I do the final stint of 3rd laps, I'm then going to open the data logger just to see where I'm losing out in time compared to Charlie. So with that, we'll swap over to our main camera here and I'm going to take a look at Charlie's lap. Freeze in the chat, decent. Haven breaky at the moment. I'm waiting for a customer. Good for you, man. Enjoy your breakfast. Are you eating raw beef again for breakfast? Still haven't got over that from last time, dude. Okay, so we'll have a quick breeze through this. I'm not completely unfamiliar with Watkins Glen. I've had 2 dailies here, not in Group 3 yet, but I have a rough idea of where my braking points are and what my line should be. I also went over Tijney's lap guide last night as well. It was in Daily Race C, I think about 2 months ago. So that gave me a good idea of what to work with as well. So Charlie here is in the BMW M6, as I will be as well, because I typically like that car a lot. So first brake marker is here on the left. It's in between the 300 and 200. Basically where the Armco barrier goes down from 4 rungs to 3 is where I'll be hitting the brakes right as that hits the edge of my screen. Let's see if Charlie is doing the same. Oh, Charlie, you are quite late on the brake here, buddy. Okay. So he's clearly waiting for that barrier to completely disappear on the left. Let's just see. Yeah, so his car is pretty much halfway alongside this. So that's just something to look out for later when I'm reviewing laps. Let's see how he does in this first corner. So, okay, I'm turning in roughly around the time you reach the final Gran Turismo 7 sign here. Keeps it in 3rd, down to 2nd. And he's back on the throttle right as he reaches the curb. He's 3rd immediately. It's quite easy to go off wide in that corner. Sorry, Freeze with no Metbrochen today. Now you're having... could you just have like an easy word for me? Like, I don't know, Weetabix, toast. Instead, he's having... Oh my god. Kaselaugenstang. Casalongastang? Casalongastang? We'll do a fan cast at some point to me just reading the German words for Freeze. At least he gets a kick out of it. Spud, how you doing, man? Freeze, superb braking spot from home. Cheese pretzel stick is probably the smartest English term for it. Good. Okay, so the 300 here should be my braking marker. Let's see where Charlie goes. Again, quite late. So basically the rear of his car is lined up with the 300 board there. Sorry everyone, a bit congested today. And now, I remember from Tidge's lap guide, one of the tricks to this one is to try and bring your car as close to the barrier on the right as you can. Let's see how Charlie does with that. Okay, pretty close. I think you can go even closer, straight line it a bit more. Like I think Tidge had his tires in the dirt. Okay, and then you should be dropping down to about, I would have guessed third, but I think he's keeping it in fourth here. And you pretty much want to be back on the throttle at the point that you hit the next curb, which Charlie is. Amazing. Phasing off the brake there. And flat out before he hits the last corner. He just keeps it flat out the whole way through. That's impressive. So, sorry, it's such a quick succession of things to watch out for here. 300, down to fourth, throttle, flat out. And so do you see where the red and yellow curbing on the right starts? That is Tidge's liftoff marker. Now, depending on how much speed you're carrying, you might need to actually dab the brake as well. As Charlie does here. He actually, did you notice that he was hitting the brake and the throttle at the same time? That's interesting. He's actually keeping his speed quite high. That's very interesting. Because Tidge was like fully off the throttle going around there, if I remember right. And Charlie is accelerating roughly as that I love NY thing is kind of between his mirror and his map there. Let's just take another look at that. Okay, so he goes flat out right as that I love NY thing goes past his map on the top right. It's one of those, you kind of have to feel at corners. Like what you're meant to do there completely depends on the amount of speed you carry into it. 200 should be the brake marker here. Okay, he's a little earlier here by the looks of it. Where did he go? Okay, so he's fairly far out from the 200 marker there. Out of Carsland. Okay, interesting. Like if anything, he's been kind of later on the brakes on all the other corners, and then this one he's a bit earlier. Okay. So you see that I kind of held the brake at 50 there for a small while. And he is on the throttle already, which is quite early. Okay, but then going full on the throttle at pretty much the same point that I have. So Tidge's acceleration marker is, so the end of that fence there, as that kind of reaches the middle of your screen, you go flat out. I like the little red painted end of the barrier there. Once that appears from behind the other barrier, that's where I like to go flat out. Okay, and Tidge's brake marker here is a little different. It's the 100 board on the right. Yeah, Charlie's bang on the nose up there, right as it hits the edge of his screen. He's going for slightly earlier apex than I would have expected. Just a second. Okay. So looking at that one again, I remember Tidge was saying like go a good bit wider, so I wouldn't be turning in there right away. And then it's roughly as that Marshall box gets under your timer, like pretty much at the center of your screen, you can go flat out if you take that later apex. As you can see, Charlie here is still at half, and then only goes to full about there. Okay, now this one, Tidge didn't actually have a good brake marker for this one. He was essentially saying well after the 200 board, so your car needs to go completely past it. Okay. Like nearly halfway between the two. About a third of the way towards the next one. Nice. She's about a third on the 100 board here. Oh, Charlie's broken already. Interesting. Another one that's earlier for him. Snap here. Now the 100 board is a turn-in marker here. Charlie has already started to go. But yeah, I wouldn't want to leave it a whole lot later than that, to be honest. And then fairly big lift as he's going in. Maintains a bit of throttle. And then goes flat out again once the curb starts to disappear off the left. Okay. The braking marker here should be where the fence style changes from the solid to the arm coat. Okay, yep, pretty much bang on the nose. And the trick to that corner as well is trying to get as close to that inside curve as you can. Yeah, that's about as tight as you'll get it, really. X-Freeze 27. Wind allows him. Yeah, I didn't actually see what the wind was in Tidge's video. I did notice though, Charlie's one is at 2.0, whereas when I was looking at the time trial earlier, I was at 1.5, so actually less wind. So if anything, that should give me a bit of an advantage. F1M Plays, how you doing, buddy? Spud, I remember I was following this one. I remember that moment just where he has the little snap of oversteer. Still though, I would say if I can get within a second of Charlie today, I'm doing well. Typically he's a second, 2 seconds faster than me in every daily quali session. Okay, let's hop into a car and get going. Actually, need to check my oil. Spud, I've got a 1:45.5 so far. Do you want to, if you're near your PlayStation, do you want to share your lap with me? Haven't had much time to train. Yeah, I haven't had a huge amount of time either. My son was sick yesterday, home from school, so I was minding him for most of the day, which ate into a bit of the time I would have had normally. Had a chance to have two 30-minute races just against the AI to try out different tire strategies. You haven't driven in a few days, Freeze? I'm hoping we can get Ants into it. I'd be very curious to see who prevails over yourself and Ants, Freeze. I reckon you're relatively similar standard. And you're preparing for Spa on the weekend. What type race do you have there? Is it another endurance one? Okay, so as you can see, I've actually got no times on the board for myself here. And I'm going to just make sure that we turn on Bop. And I'm going to load in Charlie's Ghost as well. This is a course I'm like fairly familiar with at this point, so I don't think the Ghost will do me a huge amount of good, but I'll at least keep it for the first stint anyway, just while I'm warming up here. Okay, so we'll start with the braking drills, as always. Something I've started doing at the top of every stream now at this point. 24-hour race, jeez. I assume you swap drivers kind of during, like do kind of like 2-3 hour stints as it Freeze. Okay, so we'll go for 100, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 75. 50%. 3, 2, 1. 25%. I'm also trying to hold it as steady as I can once I kind of hit the right amount. Okay, same exercise but slowly dropping down between the different amounts. So again, starting at 100%. 1, then down to 75. Okay, that was a little too much. Let me just try that drop again. Yeah, doesn't need to be much. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down to 50. 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 25. 7, 6, 2, 1. Okay, and now repeat the first exercise but without looking at the initial input. So full, easy enough. Hold it for 10. Okay, and 75. This is always a tricky one for me. No, too soft. That was only about 60%. That's not too bad. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 50. Way too much. Way too little. There we go. 1 and then 25. This one's a bit easier. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spud shared his lap. Nice one, dude. I'll take a quick look at that now before I get going. Braking was a little off there compared to other times. I'd normally be a bit closer on the mark than that. But that's why we do the warm-up. The amount of times that I've gone into a day thinking, what am I doing wrong? And then look at the replay and see that my brakes weren't what I thought they were. Okay, where are you, Spud? Oh yeah, you go under Gary Crimble, isn't it? Sorry, probably... Yeah, blew past you. Oh yeah, there. See it in the... There you are. Poker. I like me playing a game of poker. Okay. Also, kind of on the later side. So, your nose is touching it. Spud, on the other hand, had about half his car alongside... Or sorry, Charlie, I mean, had half his car alongside that gap in the fence. Similar turn-in marker. Maybe a bit earlier with the turn-in. Earlier apex, anyway. Okay, bang on the 300 there. Okay. Also, yeah, I reckon there's time to be found there for everyone if they get tighter on that barrier. Okay. Nice, nice. It will take me, I think it will take me a while to get that, you know, going flat out that early through that chicane. Just see that again. Tiny little tip of the brake. Okay, here's the 200 there. Second, upshift to third. Okay. Okay, broke a bit earlier there actually than I was expecting. Okay. It's a good bit earlier than Charlie. You've just gone past it. It's just disappeared off your screen. Okay. Also, yeah, people are braking earlier here than I expected. You were about a car's length away from the 100 board there, I think. Well, really far back, actually. Where did you end up going? It looks like you broke after the 200 disappeared. Okay. Okay, so you're almost halfway between them. Your nose is just at getting close to the halfway point here. Actually, no, about a car's length back from that. So you're roughly about a car and a half's length past the 200 board. I'm going to try go closer to the 100, see how I get on. Oh shit, yourself and Charlie. And what are you doing here? Okay, you were actually a lot more aggressive than Charlie through that. I think you probably actually were faster on that corner. Okay, braking at the same point. So you probably lost a fair bit of time in that final corner. Kept it in fourth. Got it almost tight enough. It's just you kind of started to understeer here a bit. And there's the shift down to third and just tiny contact. Probably cost you a couple of tenths. Here I am talking about it like an expert. Be lucky if I get half. I'd be lucky if I get within striking distance of that time. Missing all the apexes as usual, says Spud about his own lap. Don't be hard on yourself. It was a good lap. Freeze, guess I'll try a lap later too. Yeah, do man, share it with me. An instructional on how not to do it. Are you talking about Freeze's lap or your own, Gary? Freeze, do I do M6 tomorrow or do I try something else? Go-kart. Go-kart's the way to do it, man. There's Charlie. Started with the BRZ and switched to the M6 and improved. Still loads of improvement to make. GR3 go-kart would be something. Yes, it definitely would. Love that one in VR. Yes, sorry, yeah, good point. It is tomorrow. It's funny, in my head, I'm still thinking of it like it's tomorrow night as well, because our last one was on a Wednesday. But no, it's Thursday. Good, I'm getting the practice in now, though. Because I will not have any time to play it tomorrow, unfortunately. It's just going to be this session today and a bit of time this evening is all I'm going to have to prepare. My brother, the one who had the twins back before Christmas, has the daughter who's also only 2 years old. His hands are full. Very busy with his work as well. Is moving house in the middle of all the chaos. So helping him pack up and move. Just checked, your last daily around the Glen was a 146.1 on mediums in the 296. I just noticed actually I'm in mediums here. I'm going to swap to softs. It's a good catch. Car settings. Even better. Thursday means more practice. For you, anyway. I take it the M6 likes to be revved. I'm not actually sure when the optimal shifting point is. We'll just do 10 laps here to get warmed up. Well, this will be an easy first time to beat, so. Try braking a bit earlier here. Just need to be careful about dipping my tire in the grass there. It almost happened again. I assume keep it in 5th here. That's something I'm going to have to check. Starting to push a bit. Spud, rather annoyingly, I'm having to go to London on Thursday for work. Should make it back in time, but it's a pain. Yeah, just let us know in the day if you're running late or how it's going. I'm not sure where you're based. Is London a long trip for you? One and a half to 2 hours of travel time. Yeah, not too bad, but I think I kept it in there. So what do we think, guys? 5th or 6th gear here? Am I running these laps with penalties turned on? Probably not, actually. Need to change that. 263. It was a good lap while it lasted. It's my braking point. Luke, how you doing, man? Good to see you at this hour. Sorry, I didn't notice your message there. Tom the Rookie, how you doing? Aloha, Puka, hello chat. Doing a quick touch and go. Say hi, drop a like. Obligations are calling. Enjoy the training. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Hope everything's well with you, man. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but did I see a post where you welcomed a new one into your house recently? I think you did. Exactly, we're doing good, just sleep deprived, and the little one does not like to sleep, so that's the obligation. Hope you and the fam are doing good. That's great, man. Hope you're enjoying it too. I know it's tough in the early days with the sleep deprivation, but special time all the same. I actually, for the first time in about, I think 3 weeks, got a good night's sleep last night. My young lad has been sick, but he started some new medicine yesterday that seems to be helping. But more than that, it's just with the sun rising a good bit earlier. He's been waking up earlier, and he's been just coming into our room and waking us up. And we keep trying to tell him not to, but there's no stopping him. Got the same problem with your cats. Have to be really careful about dipping that tire in the grass. I almost did it again there. It's both little shits waking at 5 AM with the sun. Cats, man. trying something a little different there. It didn't quite work out. Oh, look at the gap we closed there on Charlie. Interesting. I think we probably shaved about 3/10 off him there for a moment. Okay, final lap. Second time I've done that. So I'm finding a lot of time there by coasting. That final corner, I just messed it up a little bit there at the end, but I've noticed I'm actually shaving time off Charlie if I'm a little bit more conservative going in, but then even flat out before I reach the corner. It seemed to, I just ended up pushing it a bit too wide there, so I had to lift again, but I did notice I was catching into the back of him. Okay, so what's the optimum? 145.6. So at the very least I should be aiming for that. I reckon I can get into the 144s today. I just want to take a quick look at Charlie's lap again before I go into the vision training, because I'm a bit curious about the gearing. I was changing up what I was doing a fair bit as I went around there. I think I was shifting down a little bit too much at the start. Save the best lap replay from that one. But then towards the end I was being really conservative and keeping it in fourth a lot as well. Take care, Tom. And very good looking graphics I got there. Tire temps and input dope. Cheers, man. I'm about to swap up a few things though, because friend of the channel Flux has developed his own telemetry app. I just haven't had a chance to give it a proper test drive and setup yet. I need to see how it plays ball with OBS first. But yeah, it looks promising and I'd like to support him, so I'll be probably paying for his membership and using that telemetry from now on. But it seems cool. It seems like he can do me a little custom skin for it and everything. Oh, sorry, that's my own. What am I doing? Don't need to see that. Okay, it's Charlie's. Sorry, I see Tom's message there. Slept yesterday on the floor next to his bed to make him feel better. Oh, I remember that. There's this horrible moment sometimes you have with like newborn children as well, where you finally get them to go to sleep, and it's probably with them resting on you while you're on the couch, and then you're like, oh fuck, I didn't get water, or the TV remote is just out of reach, or I need to go to the bathroom myself. But you know that even the slightest twitch or movement will wake them up, and you're just in this hostage situation. You're like, oh, if I just put my headphones in my pocket or put the remote a little closer to me before this happened, or gone to the bathroom a little earlier, I wouldn't be in this situation. Okay, so around here, he does drop to second, shifts up to third. I think that's one Tage kept in third. Goes up to fifth. Now, does he go to sixth here? That's something I was really unsure of, because you're revving the hell out of it approaching this. He does go to sixth. Okay. Wonder if I was losing time there with that. Down to fourth. Yeah, I had started doing it in fourth towards the end, and I was liking it. I'd even found keeping it in fourth here was working out okay for me as well. And what gear here? All the way down to second. Yeah. So to third. Okay, down to second here as well, I'm guessing. Yep. Lap. Okay, this next bit is vision training, and it might not be the most engaging for you watching, but streaming is my main chance that I have to practice, and vision is probably my greatest weakness. I worked on it last week on stream, and I felt like I had a stronger week because of it, so I am going to put the time in again here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to watch through 10 of Charlie's laps here. And all that I'm going to be doing is paying attention to where my eyes need to be at any given moment. Because, you know, I think we all do a bit of it, but we tend to fixate on our braking points a little longer than we should and not look towards where we're meant to point the car. We look towards where we're meant to point the car ahead of time, our hands and our feet will subconsciously start to do what we need to do a little bit more naturally. Well, when vision is your issue, you should just look. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been playing with my eyes closed. Now, I'm sure all of you in the chat have heard me talk about this ad nauseum, but just in case you're watching this after the fact or you come across this video 1,000 years from now, you picked up a copy of GT7 and you wondered what life was like back in the day and if you could give it a try. I get coaching from Luke Elliott, who's part of Digit's crew. He's a fantastic coach. Recommend him to no end. Get on it. If you want to improve a Gran Turismo 7, I think he is your best bet. I love the sessions that I have with him. Love the membership content that he has on his YouTube as well. He does really detailed track walks and track guides that are like exceptional, probably the best I've ever seen. But at my most recent session with him, it was vision was identified as the thing that I probably need to work on the most, so that's why I'm doing this. Okay, let's go back to the start here. Okay, looking down the road, there's the brake point, swap to the apex, looking down the road, looking at my next apex as the road disappears up the road. Towards the crest of the hill apex, looking down the road towards the barrier. Okay. towards where my brake point will appear. Can't see it yet, can't see it yet. There it is, over to the apex. Next apex, looking past, so can't call it out when it's that quick, but what I'm looking at here is, so at this point I'm already looking at the apex in the corner there, the end of the fence. Then I'm looking kind of at the edge of the fence there as the other apex appears. Kind of here. Okay, and at this point, I'm looking here. And at this point, I'm already looking here. And then following this as I go around the corner. And then locking here as the road starts to disappear. So yeah, at this point I'm already looking just at that, what you call it, edge in the fence there and the Gran Turismo 7 sign. Okay, and for corners like these, I'm actually, once I've identified where it is, I'm actually looking all the way down here the entire time. Okay, and now I can see the hut start to appear early, which is handy. And I can kind of train my eyes towards that for a bit. And it's pretty much at the point that the hut goes past that wooden post that I know I need to start accelerating hard. Okay, so looking at my brake points, looking already down towards the apex, brake, looking at where the road disappears. Okay, still haven't fully decided on my acceleration marker for this. Tidge is using this. I had been using that, but this one's starting to feel a bit slow. So yeah, it's a bit of a feel it corner for me. Okay, towards my brake point. Okay, towards the apex. Okay, towards where the road disappears. Okay, up the crest of the hill. Okay, brake point, apex. The road disappears again. Brake point, apex. Okay, turn in point, apex. Next brake point, apex. So I'm probably not calling it out as fast as my eyes are glancing around, but in general I want to be looking towards the apex long before I reach my brake point. Okay, brake point, apex, where the road disappears. Okay, apex, down the road, crest of the hill, apex, down the road. So looking down the road. Towards where the brake point will appear. Okay, apex. Next apex, exit. Exit. Brake point. Okay. Brake point, apex. Towards my next brake point. Apex. Exit. Brake point, apex. Exit. Brake point, apex, exit. Turn in point, apex, exit. Brake point, apex, exit. Okay. Brake points, apex, exit. breakpoints, apex, next apex, exit. Okay, breakpoints. Okay, exit, exit. What's there? Accelerate. Breakpoints, apex, exit. Accelerate. Breakpoints, apex, exit. Accelerate. Choo. I want GT5 again. NASCAR racing. Yeah, aside from Gran Turismo 1 and 3, I haven't played any of the others. Like, long gap in me liking racing games. It's like advanced driver training. Yeah, I'd love to get eye tracking software so I could really kind of like show you what I'm doing as part of the stream, but unfortunately there just doesn't seem to be a huge amount available for Mac, at least as a budget friendly option. If anybody knows about that eye tracking software for Mac that goes through a web camera, let me know. I know there's some stuff built in accessibility wise for Mac, but I don't know about creating it as an overlay for OBS. And yes, but in real life or something like it kind of is. Like, I noticed it improving my karting. Like, I think it's one of those ones that even before I'd had the lessons with Luke, I saw a video on it by Sparks and by Driver 61. And Driver 61 in particular races a lot in real life, and you know, he was talking about the importance of this too, which really kind of originally kind of piqued my curiosity in it. But it's one of those things that I'd always heard about, but I never actually worked on. I was conscious of it. I was there thinking, oh yeah, I think I'm doing that. But it was only really through the coaching with Luke, we identified what my issues were with it. And yeah, he just basically sent me on my merry way to work on it more. Apex, exit. But no, I tell you, like, the reason that I don't feel bad about doing this on stream is it's not like, oh, this is Luke's secret sauce. It's not. Like, if you really want to find out what a session with them is like, you're gonna have to chip out for it and go with him. He's an incredible coach. Company cars, launch control, Drac Fury. Good luck, have fun. Cheers, dude. Apex, exit. Okay, looking towards the turning point. Okay, apex. Exit, breakpoint, apex, exit. Yeah, very true, Freeze. Visualizing landmarks, often forgot about in racing. I was watching Ford versus Ferrari or Le Mans 66, depending on what country you're from, the movie the other day. And there's a bit where Christian Bale's doing a track walk and he actually kind of points to a crack in the ground and like talks about, okay, I'm going to need to hit the brakes here. It's the first time I've seen it in a movie scenario where they're talking about brake points. It's cool. Okay, brake point, apex, exit. Okay, apex, exit, apex, exit. Exit. And towards the breakpoint. Okay. There it is. Apex. Apex. Exit. Breakpoints. Exit. Accelerate. Still looking at the exit the whole time. Okay. Breakpoints. Apex. Exit. Breakpoints. Apex, exit. Accelerate. Okay. And apex, exit. Breakpoint, apex, exit. The apex and exit are pretty much center line there. Lift, point, apex, exit, brake point. Apex, exit. Eyes are leading hands, always like that in life. Yeah, while playing games, people sometimes struggle with it due to depth perception and stuff. Yeah, no, depth perception is a very real issue. Even when you're using VR. It's a little improved in VR, but yeah, the way your eyes focus and adjust to kind of like things in the distance in VR isn't remotely like what it's like in real life. It does make it trickier. You notice that like when I'm doing this right, I'm probably turning my head a little bit more. That's almost to compensate for depth perception. Okay, brake point, apex, exit. Terminal points, apex, exit. Points. There it is, over to the apex, brake, apex, exit, apex, brake point, looking for the hood, accelerate, brake points, apex. So I noticed I actually made a mistake there, just to give you an idea. So I'm trying to pay attention to my acceleration points as well, but it's quite a bit to take in at once. This one's easy enough to do because it appears on the exit. This one was a little trickier. So it's going brake point. Okay, by the time I'm here, I'm already looking down towards the apex, and now I'm already looking basically to where the road disappears around the barrier, and just watching kind of the road reveal. But then I started glancing around for my acceleration point, and I actually took my eyes away from the exit, which isn't ideal. Okay, brake point, apex. Brake point and the apex are on the same side, and that one, which makes it easier. Exit. Yeah, it's important that when my acceleration points come into view that I'm using my peripheral vision and not looking directly at them. I'm making that mistake a bit. Brake point, apex, exit. Brake point, apex, exit. Brake point, apex, exit. Brake point, apex, exit. Okay, do one more lap and that should be enough. Freeze here. The jump I made skill-wise in American football once I learned to keep my eyes on my opponent instead of the area behind him was amazing. Interesting. Wait, what position do you play in American football, Freeze? Are you offensive line or defensive line? Points, apex, exit. Defensive line. Okay, yeah. I suppose if you were offensive line, should you keep your eyes on your opponent, or should you be looking to where like the QB is or where the runner is, or good. I know that's probably not the most engaging watch for all of you, but I honestly do think it is the most important part of my training and practice. Freeze, well, played as in past Ted's turn, probably with my knees now. Offensive line needs to look at his opponent as well. Okay. It's just, I remember from kickboxing, as odd as it sounds, one of the things my coach told me to do at the time was to, when throwing a punch, almost look through and throw the punch through the opponent, like to really kind of like have it land hard. Where am I going? Sorry. Circuits. So you don't think you'll be able to go back to American football? I thought you'd been playing since you had the knee issues. Or have you been just going to watch the trainings? Okay, and let's turn penalties on this time, just so I'm not cheating. I'll be going without a ghost this time as well. Penalty settings. Shortcut penalty. Weak. Up on and no ghost. Okay, let's go again here. See what we do. See what sort of a difference that made for us. Imagine it will actually probably cause me a little bit of issue as I warm up into it. But in the long run, it's definitely going to help. Oh, did I? Sorry, I didn't set my brake balance. Let me just start this again. You did, then you injured the left knee again. I'm playing without the ACL. Seriously considering a reconstructive operation though. Ugh, I'm sorry to hear, dude. Rough going. Particularly to be going through that in your 20s sucks. Like, you had the injury at the beginning of the year, then got diagnosed with the ACL tear, did rehab and straighten your knee, and was cleared, and game 2 you had the next incident. That's always the way, isn't it? Not as bad, but I've had some problems with minor meniscus tears in each knee, and I remember my right one was the first one I did in, and it had only started to feel better after a year of hurting for maybe about 2 weeks, and then I did the left one. Yeah, I'm about a year and a half on from that, so it's definitely starting to get better. going too far there. Just steered a bit there. Let's keep it in third there. Need to go for a later apex there. I'm losing a good bit of time on it. Too much. Not get a penalty for that? Thought I would have. Drag Fury, I miss Moira. Me too. I'm on mediums. Forgot. Look, let me just go to settings. I was wondering why I was down as much as I was, because the laps were feeling smooth. Well, at least I know got some of my practice on mediums in anyway. Yeah, I've no baseline of what the time should be on mediums. The laps felt nice. Like I didn't feel like I was adjusting my brake markers a huge amount or anything. I remember really early days, I think it was even on stream, it was one of my first streams, I was really struggling. I was like 5 seconds off my friend's kind of time trial times. I was like, what am I doing wrong? And yeah, I was on intermediates. I feel when I'm being conscious of vision and looking ahead, I don't think I'm faster, but I definitely feel that my car sympathy is a bit higher. Like I feel like I'm less likely to spin out because I'm, you know, again, subconsciously doing what I feel like the car needs to do a bit more. But I think that makes it maybe a little more likely, less likely that I'll push. Okay, let's try an actual 10 laps on softs now. Why does that feel so slow? What is going on? Bop. Yeah, penalty. There we go. Car was way heavier. Felt like everything was in slow motion there. It's very constant. Okay, can we please just start this? Too wide. Good start to the lap, but definitely lost it a bit there. Okay, so a lot of time to be gained in the back half of that lap. Brake a bit harder on that one. Unfortunate. I think it's this corner on the next one are where I'm consistently losing the most amount of time. Step turn one each time as well. Such a tricky corner, that one. I'm struggling with it. Trail off a little more there. assume that's a penalty. Second, maybe. Again, have my tires in the grass there. Need to watch out for that. We are on 3 more laps. No. Saw the delta. Realized I was getting into the 145s. Pushed it a bit too hard in the final sector there. On the grass there. hate that corner. Actually, I hate most of them. Yeah. It's the biggest make or break corner. It's the one where yourself and Charlie had the same snap in the replay as well. Okay, that was lap 10. I got into the 145s for the first time right at the end there. Still finding time. I know a lot of the corners aren't consistent or where I need them to be going into them. Stringing them together though, I'm still only at a 145.5 and I would like to get down into the 144s, so quite a bit to work on here. Okay, let's just exit out and save the best lap. Replay. They don't have Sophie at Watkins Glen, unless I'm mistaken. I went looking for it yesterday. I did a lot of Sophie races in the lead up to our last race at Red Bull Ring and it really helped, but no, they've only got the default AI, I think. Look, just unless I'm mistaken here, let's take a quick look. Go to custom race. Yep, no option for Sophie. It's a shame. It's a fairly big and important course to not have Sophie on. I wonder why. Okay, so main thing I want to take a look at. Actually, I'll start with the data logger, then I'll take a look at the replay. I was going to do it the other way around, but I think it would be good to do the data logger first and then use the replay just to try and catch what I'm seeing there, or confirm it at least. So where's mine? 145.9. And we'll compare this to Charlie's lap. Oh, where has Charlie's lap gone? That's weird. Was there a difference in settings or something that caused this? Sophie don't bother about no Glen. Lads, am I losing my marbles here? Where's Charlie's lap gone? Like, it's clearly there as a ghost. but not in the collection. What's going on? Charlie's was from a daily race. Was it actually though? Because I maybe it's just the publication date, but I saw that the date it was saved was from 2 days ago. So maybe that's it. In that case, I'm kind of comparing apples to oranges. See, alright, like it is, there's always going to be a bit of a difference between a daily race quali session and one that you set up in time trial yourself. Yeah, that must be it. So I'll go to his profile here. Okay, so he confirmed it was a daily race, right? It's just I saw the publication date was from a day or two ago, so he had obviously gone back through his old files and looked for it. Okay, well that's a bit of a shame. If anybody else has their PS5 open in front of them and wants to set a lap for me, I'd appreciate it. But there's still about half a second between myself and Gary, so that gives me something to work on. Either way. Okay. So as you can see, I'm braking at least a car or two's length earlier than I'm there. I think my line is a bit better, to be honest. Yeah, it must be because I went past him there. Like he's... What's the gap? So entering the break point, it's 0.29, 200, it's not much. But then I come out of the corner. Yeah, it's almost a tenth in it. More if you count the extra speed you have going into the straight. Okay. So don't follow Gary's lead there. Okay. Braking at about the same point. He's maybe about 2 meters after me. Well, look at the amount of time I'm hemorrhaging there. That is interesting. I didn't realize. I thought it was doing the chicane okay. Okay, I think that's what I'll be fixing, so. So how much time is that? So 3:30. So half a second. Does time of day matter in the ghosts? I'm not sure. I don't know. Like there might be some kind of hidden track temperature piece that I'm unaware of, but I don't believe so. Please let me tell Liz to race. Yeah, that'll be great. He's longer on the brake than me here as well, which is quite interesting. But he has more speed in general. So let's take a look at the brake input. Okay. So you max out your brake at about 75-80% there. You come off it, and then you need to give it a tiny little dab here again. But look at our relative speeds there. You've got an extra 21 kilometers an hour on me going through that section. So that's going over the first or the second curb, I guess, in that chicane. Now, so we're at 330 there. Okay, we're relatively even through that one. It's only about a 10th in it, or a 100th in it. Okay, you break quite early here, me quite late, like about 2 car lengths after you. And you were faster by about 2/10. And again, earlier, I'm noticing a bit of a trend here. But a good bit slower. You lost about 2/10 to me there. Okay, so again, me later. Okay, how much was that? 468. 290. Okay, so you gained about 2/10 on me here, breaking a bit later as well. Kept a much tighter line. I tried doing that a few times, but I found myself going quite wide. Okay, now everybody's favorite corner. So 470 going in. Again, tighter line. You don't coast at all. That's interesting. But I would say, I know you had that snap of oversteer, so maybe it's not a fair comparison. Okay, overall a little slower on the last corner, only by about half a tenth. Okay, so it's just there's a few points where you have a tenth or two on me, but it seems like the big item I need to look at is the chicane. Like the fact that I was even ahead of you coming out of turn one. Okay, so you broke a car's length later than me. You kept it more to the left on entry. Our line is, it's very similar. Like I wouldn't put too much weight on the line. I think it's just down to braking input, to be honest, and travel speed. So look, we're pretty much identical going in. If anything, you're a little slower by a tiny bit. That's the difference there. The amount of the entry speed kind of over that first curb. Okay, let's see what I can do with that. I'll take a look at my replay as well. Did I shift to third in the bus stop? I didn't mean to. I've been meaning to keep it in fourth. I fixed the Shane, laughing all the way to bank. I'm not a good example to follow. Like, I know we're relatively similar standard times wise here, but no, it's always good to compare yourself against other people racing who are similar standard to you, because you know, again, like if we're kind of close in all the other corners, it kind of shows to me, okay, I should be able to do the chicane similar to you. It's a more glaring mistake. Puka, I sent you my screenshot for the medium time. What was this on? BOP time trial? Let's see here. Oh, Discord. So 146.1 on racing mediums as part of the World Series online qualifiers, round 6. Cool. And you did in the Ferrari 296. Nice. And actually, what am I doing? Sorry, I want to look at my own replay here, not yours. Sorry. Okay. Let's just go back a bit. Curious where I am. I still remember where Charlie Boy was braking, so I'm just curious where I'm braking in relation to him. Okay, so I've actually already started braking there. Which is a lot further back than Charlie. I think Charlie was all the way down here, if I remember right. I have gone a bit early there. I was braking before the 4-tier barrier exited my screen. Okay. Yeah, it even looks like I'm slowing the car too much. Freeze, I'll be on for another 30 minutes, but to be honest, I just kind of want to stick to my own routine. I might be on for some lobby practice later tonight though, if you're about offline. I have to collect my daughter a little earlier today. It's her last day of school, so she's finished her first year now. Big day for her. We took those before and after photos of her first day versus this morning on her last day. She's grown so much. She's like a good, I'd say, 10 centimeters taller than she was back in September. Where does the time go? Sure thing. I'll touch base with you in the evening, Freeze. Do I want to ghost? I don't think I want to ghost. I think what I'll do is I'll try rush through. I'll just see how far I can get in like about 5 or 6 laps here. And then I might turn on Charlie's ghost again, give that a shot. Maybe one of your quicker lads can help as well. Yeah, I like, if anything, I would love a really quick lap on the same settings as me here for the time trial. I think that would be the most beneficial thing I could get. I can properly study what they're doing. So I was a little later braking there, trying to go with what Charlie did, but I probably had to slow the car a bit too much to make the corner then. Okay, that's not terrible. I think my best lap was 104.8. Probably shouldn't have shifted up there. Just give it a retry. Turned in a bit too early there. Any goal for the time I'm looking at? Like as in the time I'm trying to get? I'd say anything under 145. That's it. Charlie got a 144.6 I think. So if they can match that even. Very helpful. Right in the limit there. Fastest squad. Cheers, Freeze. Too wide. Tiny lift there to compensate. Well, decent. Oh, I keep scrubbing the tires there. too deep. No, Drac, I've already said I'm not doing that this morning, but I might do one later on tonight if you're about. I think I kept that in. It's right in the line. Okay, we're good. Okay, it's best time so far today. Moving quick here. Ah, but too much, too much. Still though, good time before. Optimal still isn't under 145, but not far off. I do reckon I have a high 144 in me. Okay, 4 more attempts left. 3 more. Nice. Felt more controlled than the other time too. A bit of time too. Those last 2 corners. Finally finding my flow with that last corner a bit. I can scrub the tires the last few times. Do it getting tighter there. Hey Luke, how you doing, man? It's doing good. Just coming towards the end of my session here, but it's gone well. How are you getting on, Luke? You at work today? Oh, I almost found a lot of time there. It's trailing off a bit, but still better. Oh, that stupid corner does us all in. Looking forward to Thursday. Yeah, me too, man. Hey, Flux, how you doing, buddy? What am I practicing for? We have a 2-hour endurance race on Thursday that I will be streaming. It's a collaboration between myself and another streamer, Super Jonico. So I'm taking myself and 7 from this community, and he is taking 7 from his community, and we're having a big old race around Watkins Glen. Too wide there. I slowed the car too much there. Alright, do we have time for one more? Quick one. Quickie. Was that in? I don't think so. Okay. Let's try it without the telemetry. I think we won on the last... Well, yeah, we had more entrants though as well. As we keep saying though, it's not a competition. It's more of an individual competition than a community one. Did I set up my telemetry? No, so when I was messaging earlier, Jay, it was right before I hopped on here. So I haven't had time, but I will this evening, definitely. Yeah, you were robbed by a P2 by a back marker, weren't you, Freeze? Okay. Genuine last lap here, guys. Need to go get my daughter then. Talk about using every millimeter of the track limits there. I was half expecting to see the penalty flash up. So I'll slow the car a little more here this time. Okay, that's very solid. Don't know if I've gotten that low before for the first 2 sectors. Okay, nice and tight. Ah, I shifted up by accident there. conservative on those final two parts. No. Oh, do you not get a penalty for? Yeah, you do. So it would have been a joint best time, but I did mess up the final sector there. Anyway, loads of improvement, loads still to work on. Really looking forward to the race now on Thursday, so I should get a chance to do a bit more practice this evening. I won't be on stream, but I might set up a lobby if anyone's around. A good bit later on tonight though, say about 9 PM Irish time. I'll throw a message in the Discord if you want to join, please do. But anyway, for those of you who stuck with me during this early hour, thanks so much. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Clark, you're watching Puka GT. I'll catch you again for the big event on Thursday. Talk to you later, everyone.